Into the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 8, verses 1 through 9. 2 Corinthians, chapter 8, verses 1 through 9. Moreover, brethren, we do you to wit of the grace of God bestowed on the churches of Macedonia, how that in a great trial of affliction, the abundance of their joy and their deep poverty abounded under the riches of their liberality. For to their power I bear record, yea, and beyond their power, they were willing of themselves, praying us with much entreaty that we would receive the gift and take upon us the fellowship of the ministering to the saints. And this they did not as we hoped, but first gave themselves to the Lord and unto us by the will of God, insomuch that we desired Titus, that as he had begun, so he would also finish in you the same grace also. Therefore, as he abounded in everything, in faith, and utterance, and knowledge, and in all diligence, and in your love to us, see that he abound in this grace also. I speak not by commandment, but by occasion of the forwardness of others, and to prove the sincerity of your love. For ye know the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, that though he was rich, yet for our sake he became poor, that he through his poverty might be rich. And the Lord bless us the reading of his holy word. I'd like for us to think in terms of giving. Recently, we had a funeral service, and in that service, we buried one of our dear sisters, and she was known for her giving to the support of this church. We did not have to, none of us could ask for better, because while she was here with us, she gave as the Lord blessed her. And it was a good example for many of us. There are many of us who keep saying, we cannot give. We have nothing to give. And many times when you examine it, it is where we place priority on the things of God. We don't put the priority, no priority there, some of us. And therefore, we don't put nothing in that area, because if you don't have any priority there, what do you worry about? Some of us sit back and plan for years to buy the best furnishing for the house, or the best clothing for ourselves. But when it comes to our God, we make excuses. I don't have. But yet we believe, and we say all the time, my help comes from the Lord. So we repeat that over and over. But our attitude in giving is not there. Paul, in his time, tells us from the word that we read there, from 2 Corinthians, about the churches of Macedonia. But Paul said that they had endured affliction, that means some tough times. But in spite of the tough times that they were experiencing, the churches at Jerusalem had a problem. And they gave to help the churches out. So it come like, you don't have to, but no, they wanted to. They gave to her. There are some live their life like this. They give to nothing. But they are always ready to receive. One of the great things I learned early in the church, it is more blessed to give than to receive. And I learned that at a time when I had nothing, when I thought I had nothing to give. So, I came to church regularly. I was active in all the groups that I could be a part of. And had a great time doing these things. But I realized that as the years pass, that nothing goes unrewarded in God's business. He blesses you for faithfulness. Because thinking you have nothing to give, but yet you dedicate yourself to be here, there, wherever. It's God's business. You want to be there. He blesses you. But this church at Macedonia, Paul could not help but to take note of the church, the spirit they had in giving, in spite of the fact that they themselves were going through a tough time, yet they gave. One of the blights of our system is a lot of us look at ministry as though, well, whatever, if you have a minister, whatever you put for him, a little thing here, a little thing there, that's it. You make out how he can. But at the same time, you look at other churches and say, oh, that's a great church. That's beautiful. Look how they have flowers. Look how they have this. Look how they have all these things. But take little to consider that they are putting out their hard-earned money, their sweat and their tears to ensure, one, their building look a certain way, to ensure their minister is upkept, he and his family, to ensure that their minister drives a car not breaking out every minute on the street. They sacrifice to do that, and also to keep their place at a standard. And many times you look around there, people, not everybody making big money, but people, no matter what they make, the resources are pooled properly and put together for the work of the ministry. We have been blessed to have the Southern Baptist Convention come into these lands and start a ministry. 1962 was the year that Southern Baptist came to Trinidad. So Emmett O'Ray, who was a Southern Baptist missionary, first to come, started work in the north. And then later on, when Harold Lewis came, come to this area on this side of the island. And then you had the same 62, Otis Brady, went to Guyana. And they were all serving before in the Bahamas. And we invited Reverend Ray to this side, Reverend Poole, who was the pastor of the St. John's Baptist Church in Port of Spain. One of the things that we observed carefully from those who served us among our Southern Baptist ministers, they set good examples before us. Their ministers were always properly attired. Their ministers were well-educated people, and they spoke well from the pulpits of the land, and they seemed to be able to take care of their needs without asking us for a penny. Well, of course, you love a church like that because we are here and they get anything they buy for what they want and give us. We are the recipients of a lot of things from them, gifts from them. Go here, carry us here, do a lot of things for us without asking us for anything except faithfulness. But you know something? Those days are long gone. We are the ones now who have to make a difference for our people and for the generation to come. If we don't teach our people tithing, if we don't teach our people giving, well, the generation coming behind will catch hell, real hell. Because we must give in God's will, as we say, for the blessings that come to us. This church was not a rich church. It didn't have it had intelligent people, yes, but they were going through a lot of stress and strain. But in the midst of all their trouble, their poverty, you may say, they had a spirit of liberality. They gave to God. And that's where blessings come. A lot of us will not be blessed because what we have is always too little to give to God. We work out everything in detail. I have to get this. I have to get that. And you know the word behind I have to get that. So therefore, God, you have to wait. I can't give you this. I can't give a tithe. I can't do this. I can't do that. And therefore, in many congregations, what do you discover? 2 or 3, sometimes 4 or 5, straining to pay all the bills, carry the load, while a great majority just played it cool, enjoying everything else and not giving to the supporter of God's will. No, believers, it does not work like that. Paul, therefore, commended the church, the Macedonian church. He praised the church for their spirit of giving. And Paul thought that that was a very lofty one because, you know, their spirit of giving, a lofty one. So it means that we all believe where there is a will, there's a way. And there are many people who will be happy to go on the streets and sell this, sell that, sell this, sell that to bring to the church. Whether or not there's virtue in that, I would not commend that to say like, I wouldn't give what I should give to God because I brought in I sell some things and I brought in things to produce the proceeds to God. No, my tithe is supposed to be 1/10 of what I owe. And therefore, the person who owns more, he pays more. But the fact is, it's the faithfulness in giving to God. God promised to bless you. And those of us who have been planted in this faith a long time, and has gone through a lot, we can sit down to testify. God does not fail, and God, you can depend upon God's word. And if God says He'll bless you, He'll bless you. I see there are days when we can hardly leave the house to go anywhere because we just have to stick and eat what we have there, and once it is there, we can't even say, run to Kentucky, go here, go. We don't have the money. And then sometimes you watch time coming up that you should pay a tithe, and the devil saying to you, you don't have the money now. Don't pay. Don't pay. Don't give. Don't give to who? Don't give to God. But you know, when you give to your God, because He is the one that grants blessings, then you see the bigger picture. Because the devil is telling you, don't do. God has already said to you and to me to bring the tithes to the storehouse. He has already promised, I will pour out a blessing. So we don't have to ask if or when or how. He said He will. And that's what He said. Bring it. I'll pour the blessing. He says that many are robbing me. And the questions are, how are they robbing me? They rob me in tithes and offering. So, it's not a question to say, well, I heard from the preacher. Because every one of us have to stand before God. Every one of us is expected to give to God. And the Lord, none of us could escape. To say, well, He didn't see me. No, no, no. He knows all about us. The church at Macedonia was commended for their giving. You'll observe as you study the New Testament, that wherever Paul went in his missionary journey and he planted churches, one of the things that Paul did when he planted a church was to instruct the people of God in the doctrines of stewardship, that means giving. And when they get a teaching and understanding of stewardship, then they could follow the church of Macedonia. They could be like the church, because that was a poor church then, but it was a giving church from the little they had. And I'm saying to a lot of our people, if a lot of our people will give more to God, we'll be blessed in many, many ways. Let's look at blessings that come to us. Some of us may never grow rich out here. That is financially. But you can go rich in the grace of God. Our families could be blessed. Our children could be blessed. They are blessed because of your faithfulness to God. Not because of any other thing. Your faithfulness to God. So it's not so much how I feel or how I don't feel. It's what God says to us. I know this is to believers. Now I speak to believers because it applies to everybody who will follow in God, but especially believers. God expects believers to give to the support of God's will. You think God expects us to go outside by the road, beg this one, beg that one, beg that one? No! The little that He gives here, He'll bless it to see that we go through. We had great plans, we still have great plans for removing this, what you see above us here, the gypsum, and putting a lighter material. We have plans for that because there's some dangers that we have to deal with. We have some plans for rewiring some portion of our building. The plans are there, yes. But you notice what we didn't have there. As we make the plans, we know that the Lord will supply our needs. And then lo and behold, in the midst of all that, we lost one of our best givers. So the question comes now, what happened? What do you do now? It's not what do you do now. God has servants. And as you remove one servant, he'll bring another servant. You just have to have the faith, because you never know who the Lord will bless on occasion. I remember going to Philadelphia, spent 2 days or 3 days at a home of a pastor there. And before I left, his wife brought me a Bible. And she said to me, Pastor Gill, I want you to have this Bible. Now looking at her, and she's talking to me. She said, I used this Bible for years, but I have arthritis in my hands now. I cannot lift that Bible as I used to. So I would like you to have it. I said, thank you very much. The Bible back here was expensive because the last one I bought, well, it was about $700 for that type of Bible. And she gave it for her reasons. I've been the people where they gave. One of the things that God's Holy Spirit asked me as an individual, that I be given to anybody that I remember. But for one thing, share the grace of God with them. A message of salvation whereby they understand about sin, its contamination, and the wages, the payment for sin. That's the message I spread to them. Now, that's on their spiritual life. But physically, what do you do for people? I don't look back in my whole life. Just look back as the Spirit allowed and see what it is that I'm doing, what I can give. On the other hand, my wife was always the giving, the one that give, always have from the give. And then finally, the Lord showed me. You always say you don't have much to give. You see this little thing you have here? It's just plenty, but give some to somebody and see what happens. You know what I realized? By giving, by just starting to, it becomes like a habit of giving. Because you have a joy in your heart already to start doing it. And you see, you keep giving. Now there are some people, all of us by nature have a certain amount of selfishness. And it's good. It is not that bad because we have a certain amount of selfishness. But when we get to the point where it dominates everything, then that's bad. When dealing with our God, where do we place our God? Does he have first place, or second place, or third place? If he has first place, then we dedicate to God versus work to God. And leave it there. And what the Lord has shown me over the years, that he uses a lot of people to bless your life. I drive a car outside there. Miss Omi is Hindu. But yet the Lord used her to bless my life with her car. That she give me time to pay off her for her car. So now I sat back in quiet moments and asked myself the question, how many Christians would produce a kind of car like that in my hands and have the patience for me to pay peace? Not many. But God used somebody to do it for me. So I know the God that we serve is a great God. You notice when we had to fix this hair, we spoke about fixing hair. And of course, it is a cost to fix it here to go to the back. All of us have knowledge, we didn't have the money. And lo and behold, our brother came from across there to ask us what? If he could use the back at the portion of the back of the place to get to his property. What we did here, we said, go ahead. So I'll pay you, I'll do this, I'll do that. We didn't take the money. Not to say we don't need money, but we didn't push for the money. And what happened? He fixed his property. But in fixing his property, he put a new chain link fence right down the road for us. Paved the yard right back here for us. And have us able to drive right back, cut the mango tree to suit, have us able to go right back there to park today. That is God's goodness. And what, is he a Christian? No, he's a Hindu. But what of God's servant God used to bless us? And in the midst of blessings like that, people looking on, I'll be afraid to trust God and to launch out for God. But God not only bless us with these things, he blesses us with health. Let me say this, no matter how much money you may have or whatever gift you have, if you have no health, you're nothing. When you're sick, you have money and you're very sick. It's a pain. You know why I say it's a pain? Because you have to spend to all the great doctors. Doctors after doctors. Sometimes the Lord himself preserves us. He preserves us that we could go for a long time without falling here and falling there and falling by the wayside. That's the God you and I serve. But then you think about wisdom, knowledge. All knowledge, all wisdom comes from God. But the Lord asks us to be faithful to him. We cannot impress people by, you're doing this to impress me. Don't try, don't do that. That makes no sense. You talk, you deal with you, whatever you do because you're God. Tell his servant to tell you what should be done. And you do it because you trust, you believe you're God. And some people's whole life is trying to impress somebody. No. I don't have to impress God. Because in the first place, I'm sinful. In the second place, it was his grace that looked beyond the sinfulness of my life that deserved death and gave me a new life and set me on his course, put me in his course. And it is by his grace I stand here, not by what I have or what I earn. No. His grace. So I know